Hey everybody, Rich Graham here from Trident Fitness Tactical. I wanted to talk to you today about a pretty interesting topic, talking about God's hand and coincidence and fake Christians. So to start off, there was a story I wanted to share with you guys about the upcoming event for the Warrior Grind and what's happening with the veteran suicide rate and all that. And I was kind of going back and forth on whether to share it or not. And then interestingly enough, I hadn't been to a church in a while. I'm back in town off a couple trips, and I was like, you know what, I haven't been to church in a while. Let me go jump in there and see what the message is. So I went in, and I'm sitting there, and the topic of discussion was how nobody likes a fake Christian, and don't be a fake Christian. And it was a really interesting topic because a lot of times we think of fake Christians and we think of people who are like fake nice, like, oh yeah, you know, everyone's all lovey-dovey and everything's all good and we're all happy, and then you're like, dude, that guy is so full of crap. No one's that nice, no one's that happy. When they leave here, they're talking crap about me, you know, they get upset over the same stuff that other people do, like, and we usually associate that with fake Christians. The people who aren't Christians don't like Christians because they're like, those guys are so full of crap. And then people who are Christians, you know, and they are fake, they know they're being fake, so then they have this, you know, this fear that they're living with, that people are going to figure them out. So it was really interesting for me to hear this talk, because as I'm sitting in the audience listening to this, I'm like, holy crap, dude, I've been a fake Christian, right? And now I say that not from the same aspect of I fake being nice, but I don't openly share the fact that I am a Christian. I became a Christian probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I think a lot of us suffer from being a fake Christian from the standpoint of, you know, we have this reputation to uphold, right? Whether it's the tough guy image or it's you know, I'm a businessman and I can't mix, you know, religion, politics within my business, you know, so I just got to stay neutral all the time, you know, and I can't really express how I feel because I just want to be neutral. And I'm fake because you're trying to make people happy by being neutral. And it's all bullshit. So I was like sitting in the audience and I'm like, huh, interesting. They didn't say that, but that's how I registered it, because they were talking about like the fake nice Christians. And I'm like, dude, I'm being a fake Christian because I don't share what I actually believe enough. Not that I need to be, you know, a Bible thumping in your face kind of person, but at the same time, I shouldn't hold back how I feel or my views and stuff like that just because I don't want it to affect my business and my viewers and subscriptions on YouTube and stuff like that. So, brings me back to this point. I was getting ready to share this interesting story that I had, and then I was like, you know, I don't know if I'm going to share it. And after that, this morning, I'm going to share it with you. So, about a week and a half ago, I was up in upstate New York running a course. I got a weird email, which I get a lot of weird emails from some of you guys out there, and you know, it is what it is. It's part of having an online business. But I got this email from a lady, and she wanted to know if I could watch her dog until November. And I'm like, looking at my buddy Shannon, who's one of my SEAL buddies and instructors that we have with TriTac, and I'm like, dude, Shannon, look at this email. This lady wants me to watch her dog until November. You know, here we are in August when this took place, and it's like, I'm not a kennel club. Like, I don't have a kennel. Why is this lady sending me an email to watch her dog? So, very interestingly enough, I was about to delete it and I didn't. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm saving this, but I didn't delete it. So a few more days goes by, the course is done, I'm making my way back to Florida, I'm driving the car, it's a little bit after 10 p.m. at night, and for some reason, I just have this urge to call this lady and be like, why were you emailing me? You know what I mean? So here I am, I'm like, I don't even know if I should be calling this lady first off, and second of all, it's late. I was like, screw it, I'm going to call this lady. I want to see, I'm bored, I'm in the car, I want to see why this lady's sending me this email to watch her dog. So I call the lady up, right, and she answers, and I said, hey, this is Rich Graham from Trident Fitness Tactical. You had sent me an email about a week and a half ago regarding someone watching you needed your dog to be watched. And she's like, oh my God, thank you for calling. Yes, my son's away. I need the dog. I need to find a home for the dog until November when he gets back. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, let me ask, how did you get my number? I don't own a kennel. She's like, well, well, here's the thing. My son was in the Marines, and he got a dog. It's a service dog that kind of flunked out of the academy for the police department. So then a veterans group was picking up these dogs and giving them to veterans who had PTSD and stuff like that. So, you know, he has this dog, and he's at a clinic right now. He won't be back till November. So I decided to watch the dog for him. But the housing development that I live in, they don't allow pets, and they're threatening to kick us out of our house if we don't get rid of this dog. But I don't want to get rid of my son's dog. So I'm like, okay, but how does that, where'd you get my information from? Like, why are you reaching out to me? And she goes, well, I went to my vet, and my vet told me, gave me a couple of names and numbers, and said, hey, you got to call this guy Simon. You know, talk to Simon. Simon might be able to help you out. So she called Simon, and Simon said, that's funny, Simon says. Anyway, she goes, Simon said that I should touch base with this kennel, and touch base with this guy, Rich Graham. Here's his email, you know, touch base with him and see if he could help you. So I'm trying to put the pieces together. I'm like, I don't know a Simon, and I don't know that vet's clinic. Interesting, okay, keep going. So she's like, yeah, so I'm reaching out to you. And I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't really understand why you're reaching out to me, because I don't run a kennel. Like, what exactly is going on? So you're saying that this veterans group gave your son a dog, so obviously he's not active duty anymore, so he's not away on a deployment. She's like, no, he's actually at a clinic, and this is where the story gets interesting, because then she breaks down and starts crying on the phone, right? And I'm like, oh, where is this going? You know what I mean? Not in a bad way, but she starts crying on the phone. She said, look, my son got out of the Marine Corps a few years back. He was in the Marines. He was a canine handler. He got out. He was suffering from PTSD. This group gave him a dog to try to help him cope with the stresses and stuff like that. And it did help. But since he's been out, two of his best friends, Marines that he served with, two of his best friends that he served with have since committed suicide. My son just lost his brother, and she started crying again because she just lost her son, obviously. And she said, this is just about put him over the edge. And we checked him into a clinic that's trying to work with him and, you know, kind of just help ease the pain and work with him, you know, so he doesn't commit suicide. And he doesn't get out of that clinic until November. That's why I'm watching his dog. And I'm afraid that if we can't find a home for this dog, one, I don't want to lose my home, but the other thing is, I don't know what's going to happen to my son if he comes out of that clinic and I don't have his dog waiting for him. So at that point, now we're talking about how God's hand moves in your life. And I'm like, all right, ma'am, so let's just rewind real quick. So you have no idea who I am? She said, no. And I didn't say that like as an arrogant way, like, oh, I'm Rich Graham. But I said, so what I do and who I am, I was like, first off, I was in the military myself. She's like, oh, you were? I was like, yeah, I was in the SEAL teams with the Navy. And then she was like, oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, I'm not saying it like that. But what I'm trying to tell you is that I have a protection company. I provide personal protection training, leadership training, and fitness training. We have a program that we call the Full Spectrum Warrior. And I was like, this has nothing to do with running a dog kennel. So as far as the dog goes, I don't think this is why you actually contacted me. I think the dog was just a tool to have us talk to each other. Because what I just finished up doing with a couple of my SEAL friends up in North Carolina is we did a 14.5-mile swim relay, and we raised over $32,000 for a program called the Operation Restored Warrior. And what we're doing right now, so that was in August, right now for September, we're getting ready to do a 250-mile bicycle ride in 36 hours that the halfway point is literally less than 10 minutes from your home. The halfway point is the Navy SEAL Museum right there in Fort Pierce, Florida. This is right down the street from you. And this also is designed to raise money and awareness for Operation Restored Warrior. I was like, what Operation Restored Warrior is, it's a nonprofit organization that works with these veterans to help battle them committing suicide. Because right now, and I said to her, I'm like, obviously you're living this, so I don't need to tell you, but for everyone else out there in America, a very taboo topic that no one wants to talk about is there's on average 22 veterans committing suicide per day, right? We have active duty personnel on top of that committing suicide, including, you know, commanding officers of a SEAL team committed suicide. So it's not just a thing that happens like in the lower ranks with, you know, E1 to E4 kind of guys. It's like, oh, those enlisted guys, they're just all screwed up. No, this is amongst the whole entire ranks of the military. It's a huge problem, and no one wants to talk about it. It's this big like, oh no, it's not really there, you know, or we just don't talk about it. It is there. And she's like, I know, I'm living this firsthand. I've watched my son's best friends both take their lives, and now I'm scared to death that my son is going to do the same thing. I said, this is why me and you are on the phone right now. This is why I didn't delete that email. What I'm going to do is everything I can do in my power to raise this money, to raise awareness for this program, and I'm going to try to get your son through the Operation Restored Warriors Drop Zone program, right? I'm going to try to do what we can to save him and the other veterans who are battling the same condition your son is. Because this problem, this epidemic, isn't just affecting the veteran committing suicide. Yeah, it's a sad story, the veteran commits suicide. But the story is bigger than that because it affects that mother, it affects the friends and family members. These are your friends from high school. These are your friends, you know, that you played college sports with. These are your brothers and sisters and dads, uncles, whatever. These are our family members. These are our countrymen. And this is why we talk about, you know, this thin thread in God's hand working in our lives, because here it is, when we start doing bold things, the connections come to you, and you know, the doors are put in front of you. It's our choice, obviously, to open those doors. So to wrap this up, sorry this video is so long, but I think it's an important topic. The God working in our lives, if we're willing to look, you know, because we're always quick to blame God for when things go wrong. Oh, thanks God, where were you on that one? But the problem is we're not very quick to give him credit when things go right. Does that make sense? So here we are. I wasn't going to share this story with everybody, right? And then I go to church this morning and they talk about don't be a fake Christian. Well, one of the problems with this and why this is so important and why I'm trying to advocate this program so heavily is a lot of fake Christians out there. And I'm not going to throw you down if you don't want to donate to it. I understand there's millions of charities out there and there's a lot of things, and I get it. But with that being said, there's a lot of fake Christians out there who go, oh man, Operation Restored Warrior, this sounds great. This is a great thing. We got to help these veterans. This is a problem. I had no idea that many veterans are committing suicide every day. And then it comes out that Operation Restore Warrior is a Christian-based organization. You don't have to be a Christian to go through the program. You don't have to leave as a Christian coming out of the program. But it's a Christian-based organization. And once people hear that, then they go, oh, I want to donate, but, you know, I'm going to have to do it anonymously, or I can't really donate because we don't pick, you know, we don't donate to religious charities because, you know, we don't want to offend people of different faiths, and we don't want to be picking sides and all that stuff. And that is the epitome of being a fake Christian. Just like I was a fake Christian this morning before I made this video, because I didn't want to, you know, offend or, you know, lose subscribers or followers of the company because I believe a certain spiritual, you know, I have a certain spiritual belief system, and if people know how I feel, then, you know, maybe it's not going to be cool, or maybe it's going to be offensive. I don't know. But there's a lot of companies out there, there's a lot of people out there who see this program and they go, that's a great organization, I want to help. They find out that it's related to a Christian-based thing and they go, I don't want to be associated with any spirituality. Even though this program is more effective than any other veterans organization that's working with these suicide problems that I know of. And if there's one that's working better and getting better results, please let me know. But as of right now, I don't know of a single one that is focusing on the problem. Operation Restored Warrior says, psychology reveals and Jesus Christ, God heals, right? And that's their philosophy as they work with these guys. And these are all veterans themselves who are running the program. So, sorry for the long video, but again, this is an important topic in my opinion. And if you would like to see how you could help us and help support ORW, Operation Restored Warrior, easy, relax, please read the description below. We look forward to having you out at the after party. We look forward to you guys getting involved and supporting with donations or however you can support. But again, this is an important project that we're working on, and I thank you for taking the time to listen to this long drawn out video. I'm sorry I tried to compress it as quick as I could, but thanks again for watching, and please read the description below to see how you can help out and get involved.